Indianapolis Reentry Educational Facility, or IREF, is a prison, but not just any type of prison. IREF is a Level 1 reentry facility. This means their main goal is to help prepare residents, not prisoners, to re-enter society after their sentence. IREF uses programs like education, career counseling, and programs like Toastmasters to help residents transition into society. I had the privilege to go to IREF for a semester and take part of their Toastmasters meetings. I was first introduced to IREF beginning my Theme Learning Community, or TLC. I had no idea what re-entry was or what it did for our society. I did not know what to expect. Was it going to be intimidating? Were there going to be guards everywhere with canines and people in orange jumpsuits? Turns out, IREF is not what I thought. You get scanned through security and then enter the courtyard. From there, we walk down a long walkway, taking us past the courtyard, the beautiful pond, and the red brick buildings as we are taken to Toastmasters. Toastmasters is an organization that allows people to work on their communication, leadership, and public speaking skills. The residents participating in this not only learn how to speak publicly, but how to communicate one-on-one with somebody who is currently in society. This is beneficial to them for when they re-enter society, because it provides skills to help them get a job. Now, how does this relate to my current theme learning community? In my Intro to Criminal Justice class, or J101, we talked a lot about implicit bias and how it influences our decisions in the criminal justice system. Implicit bias is an unconscious belief or prejudgment. Sadly, the problem is that many people are unaware of their implicit bias. I was not aware of my implicit bias until I took this class. I was educated on my implicit bias, and getting differential association is the only way to help overcome it. Not only does going to IREF give me a first-hand experience with the criminal justice system, but it educates me more on the perspective of being in the criminal justice system from the other side. Attending IREF, I was exposed to so much more, from the process of the criminal justice system to some problems that can be fixed with re-entry. Our current Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, said improving rehabilitation programs and re-entry outcomes doesn't just help formerly incarcerated individuals. It's also good for our communities as a whole. In our J101 class, we discuss about the criminal justice process and re-entry, but getting the first-hand experience at IREF puts the process and re-entry into perspective. Don, a resident, told a story about his life and how he was caught up in the criminal justice system. Another resident, Rico, told us he was waived from the juvenile court to the criminal court because of the severity of the crime. These are just some examples of how it correlates to my J101 class. My experience with IREF was extremely beneficial to my Fundamentals of Public Speaking class, R110. In R110, we are taught that communication is a process of creating shared meanings. What do I mean by shared meaning? Everybody has a different background, past, or values that paint their picture for them. This is called their frame of reference. Everybody's frame of reference is different, so is the way they communicate. In IREF, I had the opportunity to be a part of Toastmasters, so I was exposed to people that experienced something completely different than what I had been through. To communicate effectively, I had to analyze the residents and what they were comfortable talking about. I had to create a meaning to what I was trying to communicate, something that the residents could possibly relate to or understand. Another point where Toastmasters has enhanced my learning in R110 would be the public speaking. I got more practice from listening to others speak and from speaking. When it was my turn to speak, there was always an evaluator assigned to me. At the end, they would give you advice on what you could improve on and tell you what you did well on. It was nice to hear what they thought since they were part of the audience. This benefits the residents as well. When they re-enter society, it is very hard for the residents to get jobs or opportunities that will help them in their life. Learning how to speak publicly gives them the advantage because it is a skill that many employers look for. Both residents and students can take public speaking outside of Toastmasters now and use these skills in the real world. IREF is a re-entry facility, so its goal is to prepare the residents for when they re-enter society. In my first year seminar V100 within the School of Public and Environmental Affairs, we are given the tools to be successful in our career. I can see how re-entry is beneficial not only to the residents, but the community, because it's more likely that their recidivism rates reduce. They would be more experienced than other incarcerated people and more prepared to get a job or continue in education. When I began college, I was set on being a lawyer. Now I'm considering conducting research on how to make our criminal justice system better and educate those around me about our criminal justice system. Our criminal justice system is not what the media makes it out to seem. It is crucial to gain this first-hand experience, which majority of the public still hasn't done. I began explaining my experiences with my mother and informed her that it's different from what she thought that the criminal justice system is like. This expanded to my siblings, friends who are not criminal justice majors, and people from church. Many of the people who I have spoken to have admitted that they do not know how our criminal justice system works and what are the problems that need attention. They are so intrigued from this information, which is what led me to have a change of mind and career path. After the semester is over, I plan to continue talking about my experience at IREF. It educates everyone around me, including myself, about re-entry and current issues in our system. I have changed my perspective in re-entry and hopefully can inform others so they can make the decisions for themselves. Going to IREF helped put what we learned in J101, R110, and V100 class into perspective. It gave me a real-life example of our criminal justice system, public speaking, and career readiness. As for the residents, they receive first-hand experience with people outside of prison. The residents are more prepared to re-enter society from where they started. I recall the first time I went to IREF, Mizi, a resident, said that he was scared to meet us and what we thought of him. He gained confidence in this experience and he will be able to grow further. This IREF experience has really made an impact on my life and my perspective. Being able to communicate and see how re-entry affects the lives of the residents has made an even bigger impact. The hope on the residents' faces when they talk about getting released, getting a job, and being with their family has been permanently engraved in my mind. With this, I hope to start a ripple effect and educate people. I hope to make an impact to those around me and those who are affected by our criminal justice system.